Welcome back, everybody, to the Untitled Gacha Podcast. I'm Mysidia Gaming, and I am joined by Rev. Rev, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
How's it going, everyone? Name's Rev. My YouTube channel is GatewayOfTheSix.
Awesome. So we're getting together every once in a while to talk about everything gacha gaming. Last time we talked a lot about War of the Visions, but we're going to make sure that we talk about other games as well and just the industry in general. So if you don't know us, we both play War of the Visions, although that's would be considered my main game. Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, but Rev he also plays he plays a boatload of Epic 7. He's played some Exos Heroes, and I play Tales of Cristoria. So we do play multiple games, and we're gonna get into that in just a second. But what I wanted to open up today with is we asked you for name suggestions on the last podcast, and we're gonna go through some of those. So the first one that we got was from Imba Punch, who's an awesome YouTuber and streamer, and you can check out his comment on the last video and check out his channel because he does really awesome gacha content. And his suggestion was the Daily Reset Cast. And what do you think about that one, Rev?
I like that. It's it makes sense. Us being a gacha channel, every single gacha game revolves around resetting the dailies, resetting like the farmable things that you're gonna do throughout the day to get achievements or get currency from these grindy spots that we do.
Yeah, that one is definitely I think that's my favorite. It's a really good suggestion. We also had Shugojin Hellfire that suggested the podcast with a vision, which is of course a War of the Visions reference, and that's not bad either.
It's not bad. It leaves it open for interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
I like that because it does give it that openness about the title.
Yeah, and I think that there were some other suggestions. I think maybe some of them were on the Discord, so I don't have them here. But I think that we're gonna have to strongly consider the Daily Reset Cast. I think there's no way that we don't think about slapping that on.
Yeah, there's no way we can just pass up on a good opportunity like that.
Yeah, exactly. So before we get into kind of our main topic for today, which is we're going to be talking about like offer walls and ads in games, and we're also going to talk about like cash grabs and stuff that we see in gacha games. Let's just quickly give a quick update how our main games are going. So Rev, what's going on with Epic 7 right now?
So Epic 7 has been going through its second anniversary for the game, celebrating a lot of achievements they've done, the champions, the heroes that they've released. They've sent out a lot of gifts for a lot of people. And currently right now, there is a 70 summon event where every day for the next 7 days up until September the 22nd, which is a Tuesday, I believe, every day you log in, even if it's a completely new account, every single day, 10 free summons. So that's 70 summons that can definitely boost up anyone's account.
And how have you been doing in these summons?
Well, all I'm gonna say is I have 3 accounts, so that's 30 summons per day, and I've gotten new units on every single account every single day. And that's saying a lot because my first account has almost half of the roster already filled.
Wow. And you've made pull videos for each of these days so far.
Yeah, so I'm running a little experimental series on my YouTube right now with pulls just for fun, seeing as how I have 3 accounts that I'm going to be pulling on. Why not make content? And I know that there's a lot of people that say, oh, it's streamer luck or it's YouTube luck, so I'm trying to see if pressing that record button on my phone is giving me that extra boost. And so far, 3 out of 3.
Yeah, that's awesome. So sometimes I think that streamer luck exists or YouTube luck exists, and then other times I really don't think it's true. Like I think you're also like, when you watch somebody else, you might see something that you need and it's really good for you, and then you're like, oh, they're so lucky. But then it's like, within the context of that person, they might not have been lucky, and but it is certainly a fun thing to talk about and a fun thing to point out when you have people commenting or chatting on a stream or something. And you made a video also about how you're not going to play Exos Heroes for at least for a while, right?
Yeah. So last podcast, I definitely talked a lot of good stuff and also a lot of bad on Exos Heroes. And as the days went on since that podcast was recorded, it definitely seemed apparent the issues that I had with it kept growing and growing, and the player base was content with the issues at hand. So I didn't like that personally, and I've made videos. I've made 2 videos on Exos, and I've showcased both videos how good my units can be. But on the second video, the last one that I did, I really did point out the biggest issue is just the gear equipment threshold that there is for players trying to get into the game and trying to at least be somewhat competitive. I'm not talking about like top of the bracket.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like mid tier.
And I actually saw that on the Exos Heroes Reddit. There was someone that was saying just like, it's hard enough for us to keep up with like the daily grind, but I can't even imagine how hard it is for a new player now to try to catch up through the story. Because from what I understand in Exos Heroes, it's not like War of the Vision's story where you can auto every single battle all the way to the end and get all the stars and you'll be totally fine. Like in Exos Heroes, you have to actively think about how you're getting each star to get all the rewards on a mission. And then also there's missions that are straight up hard and you have to make sure your team's strong enough for them.
Yeah. Now, I'll give it credit for that. For one part of that is that you have to think about what you're going to do. So you can't just go all willy-nilly, put whoever you want on the team and expect to get 3 stars. So there's a little bit of strategic implementation on that. But it also gates you from trying new things because you have to do it in a specific way. And if not, you're not going to make it. A lot of the time, it's gated by gear because it has to be a certain threshold for you not to be one-shot by the enemy.
Well, so besides Exos Heroes, besides Epic 7, you're playing War of the Visions as well. Anything else that's going on with you in your gacha games?
Guardian Tales was one I was talking about last podcast. It's a side game for sure. Yeah. I thought I was gonna bump it up to main game after Exos Heroes was dropped, but I like I said the last video, I like the fact that it reminds me a lot of my old GBA days. But it doesn't have enough pull power to keep me logging in every single day, so it's just sitting on the back burner.
I get that, and that's kind of what's happening with me and Tales of Krystoria right now, because I was playing it and I absolutely loved the story. Like, it was console Tales quality story, but the actual game itself has not been keeping me coming back, and it's frustrating because you just want to have that affinity with a game where you're just wanting to log on and play it, especially with a game like Tales of Krystoria. It's a Tales game, and I feel like I should love this and I should just be logging in, and I don't want to will myself to have to do it. But that's kind of where it's at right now, and it's very frustrating because I want to like it so badly. But in terms of War of the Visions, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna comment on the Tales of Krystoria. I think I had mentioned this to you, or I think we had talks about it on the Discord. Is that I dropped the game because it felt like I absolutely needed to have these units to be able to make full use of them, like having multiple copies of them, just to be able to unlock their Mystic Art. And that's what took me out of the game.
See, that's not even... I think that you should have given it more time, because there's literally no content that requires a Mystic Art or any of that power-up. Like, the game's like fully beatable, playable, and you can do everything with the characters as they are. Oh, yeah. But if they ever do release anything that requires the dupes to be fully pulled, that is going to be a pain in the ass, because holy do you need a lot of dupes in that game.
it's just the competitive nature of me. I always want to go into PvP and try to like make something happen. And if I feel like the units that I have can't do what I want them to do without, you know, being fully usable, like say the Mystic Art, then I feel like I'm missing out. And that's just me personally.
Yeah, well, and just so we clarify with people watching, everybody has their Mystic Art from the start. It's more their awakening abilities, what Rev's talking about.
Right.
Yeah, just so we don't sound like we haven't played the game. Yeah. Just to wrap up what's going on with us, I am playing 2 War of the Visions accounts right now. My second one is 2 weeks old, and I am absolutely loving it. I was really it was a really daunting task to play a second account, but because I just have it running on my emulator, it's not a big deal. And being able to play and build units simultaneously on both accounts is absolutely amazing, because it's one of my favorite parts of the game, and you can't build too many units at once in War of the Visions. So being able to, you're pointing at me, but I'm going to finish this point because it's hard to talk at the same time. So the being able to like build King Elde at the same time, who I don't even have him on my main account, and there's no way I could build him at the same time, and I'm getting that experience of getting to try out all these different units all at once, which is very good. Okay.
Yeah. So what I was pointing out was that you didn't trash me, but you kept saying like, man, so many accounts on Epic 7. I said I was gonna make 3 accounts. It's for that reason alone, because there's so many units that I want to work on, that I want to try new things, but I can't because either I don't have them or I don't have the resources for them. So when I make a new account, I'm able to pull those if I do, and I have the resources to pull onto them. So I have different teams, different strategies that I'm working on different accounts. That's one of the things that I really love about having an alternate account.
Well, I just to be fair, I never bashed 2 accounts. I totally get that. 3 accounts is crazy. There's no reason I would make a third War of the Visions account unless I'm showing people like a reroll video or something. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So, we're going to move on into the main section of the podcast here, and we wanted to talk about the offer wall that's in War of the Visions, but you see these kind of like ad incentive things in a lot of gacha games, but let's quickly start with your experience doing the ad wall, or sorry, the offer wall.
So, as everyone knows, I had Mysidia use my account to be able to teach everyone how to start the game, or like how things should be progressed and what you should be looking out for when doing your new player account type thing. And it helped me a lot get back into the game because I was lost. So when I went back in, I was trying some of the offer walls because he was making some videos on the raid and the AFKs and all that. I was like, all right, let me try out raid. Miserable experience from the get-go. As soon as you finish the tutorial, they start dumping you with, buy this, here's a pack for this, here's a 6-star that you can get for $30. It was just ridiculous. Now, after I got the offer wall requirement done, they didn't pay me. I sent a ticket, they still didn't pay me. So I wasted a week trying to do this miserable task to get nothing. And I ended up giving them a click on the download, so I really don't like that. Like if you're offering something and you complete it, pay me. If not, then I got gypped.
Yeah, and that is frustrating. And now I've been paid for every offer wall I've done. I'm going to clarify the couple of things that are known about the offer wall, and that's one, you don't use emulators for it because it's unpredictable. Emulators often like install the little app button on your emulator, so you see like raid there. You don't actually have it installed on your computer, but it's like part of the emulator, and I feel like that messes with it. So because if you've previously downloaded any Offerwall game, they will not pay you the offer. It has to be first time downloaded on that device. So use your phone, use your tablet, never use an emulator. And then the other thing is you can't like switch devices. You can't start it on one, finish it on another. And then otherwise you just want to like, you have to like click the Offerwall, install it immediately, go right into the game and like make your account and do all your stuff, because those are like common ways that people have not gotten their offers. But I don't think that's what happened here with Rev at all. He just got gypped.
Yeah, plain and simple. I just got gypped, and it ended up it made me rip off my headset because I was like, man, this sucks, and I ripped it off, and here's what I have working with my headset right now.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
So I have
to... Sorry, I just saw
Ray owes me a new headset.
They've got the money for it. I just saw a big spider run across my floor and head into my kitchen, so I am terrified because it's gone now, and I know it's here now, so... What are you gonna do?
Want to be in the video.
Yeah. So the thing with the Offerwall games, it's that, I mean, like when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, you're spending your own time and it's your own choice to do things, but you have to be careful because I've heard of almost. I feel like I've heard one success story of someone appealing their like the people that didn't get Visior. I've only ever heard of one person actually getting their Visior after complaining. Most people say they've never heard back, or they just got denied. They showed screenshots, they got denied. So you have to be okay with it going into that, going into the experience. But should it be an experience? Should it even be something that War of the Visions is offering if these offers don't pay off? And who's ultimately responsible for paying you your offer? Is it War of the Visions, or is it... Apparently it's these companies, because those are the people that you're contacting, right?
So let's start with, is it whose fault? Who's at fault? So War of the Vision isn't at fault. They made a deal with some promotional company that gives these ads, and they assign values for the rewards given. So that's, as far as that's concerned, that's all they have on the table. Everything else is off their hands. Now, who's at fault? Well, I think the promotional company that's doing these ad offer walls are at fault because they oversee both sides. Okay, you're completing a task for this game, you downloaded it, okay, did you complete it, yes or no? And what game is it being rewarded to? So if you send a ticket, you talk to them, you don't talk to Raid, and you don't talk to War of the Visions. So the fault lies with them.
Okay, I didn't realize
that. Yeah, because back in the day, I want to say around 2014, 2015, there was this tower building game, not a tower building, but like a base building game. And they had similar thing, almost the exact same thing, where you would gain rewards for completing certain things on different games. So it's the exact same concept with both of those games. So it's not nothing new. It's been around for a while, and that company, I don't know what company it is, and if it's even the same one from the like previous games, but it looks very similar, and they have a very bad reputation as far as tickets being submitted and rewards being given out. So there's that.
So do you think that this offer wall should even exist? Like, is this something the company should be doing to the player base? Like, you're offering to their player base? No, you don't think so?
No, I don't think so. And the reason why is because okay, I'm gonna preface this by saying War of the Visions, as it currently stands, from what I've experienced coming back, is good with rewarding the players, to make the players feel rewarded for what they do. So I'm just gonna say that off the bat. However, when you do contracts with promotional companies like that, you open yourself up to do other things, which is good for the player base, but you also cheapen out by not doing it yourself. So you can have achievement sections, like in the missions tab, you can have things. You can add more things on there to be like, okay, if you do X, Y, and Z, you get rewarded a big chunk. Whereas all they have right now, what I've seen, I think is like spend X amount of Vizzy, or you get 500 back, or progress through the story, progress to a certain part, you get 2,000 or something like that. So they could add on that. Instead, they're doing the promotional company to take weight off of their shoulders to do other things. So it's an if and or, but
I don't think that they're that comparable. I think those are two different things. The mission tab is like part of the game, and that's like the built-in free-to-play way to get some currency. The offer wall is a way for War of the Visions to make money. Like, there has to be an incentive for us to buy into it, but I don't think you can equate the offer wall to the missions tab, because the missions tab doesn't make War of the Visions any money, except for the Vizier consumption bonus, which again is a way to make us spend because the company has to make money. But the offer wall, they I don't think that there's no reason for them to put it in the missions, because that literally gives them, if anything, that would lose the money, right?
So I get your point. I completely understand, because other games that are major successes, like the Epic Sevens of the gacha gaming world, you're really looking for that spider.
I know. It's honestly, it's like gonna sneak up on me.
But yeah, so the Epic Sevens of the world, they have those things in the achievements section that give you a lot of rewards for what you do, and they don't need offer walls because they built it into the game. And since it's a massive success, they don't require excess amount of different money, because the player base is buying into their packs or their premium currency.
But that is in War of the Visions, though. That whole achievement system, that's all there, right?
Right. No. But I'm saying is that because Epic 7 is a much bigger success than War of the Visions, they don't require the need to have offer walls.
I think that's not that comparable, because one's a game that's been out for 6 months and we don't know what it's gonna be like. We're comparing it to Epic 7 that's been out for however many years now, right? 2 years. So I don't think we're there yet. Because like this, like for example, video summons were in the game from the start, and it's something that they use in other Square Enix games, Romancing Saga. The original Final Fantasy Brave Exvius used video summons. But like, has Epic 7 ever done something like that? No. So like, I don't. Yeah. So I just feel like maybe you're right that they haven't had to explore other ways to make money, but I also think that Gumi's just right off the bat, they're like, okay, let's just do all the things that make us money. So let's do ads, let's do like packages, let's do all this stuff, and put it all together. And
not to dog him on having to do it, because it's at the end of the day, we're getting rewarded with premium currency.
Yeah.
Sure, it's gated from free premium currency and paid premium currency, but still, you still have, you're still getting rewarded for something.
Yeah.
So I'm not dogging them on that. It's just that coming from a very spoiled place, from a gacha perspective, I feel like if I'm playing one game, I don't have to go to a different game just to come back to the main game to have something that I should have had by doing something else in the game.
I guess that's where we differ, is that I don't think it's something that you should have had. I think that's the entitled part, where it's like, well, I should be able to earn this Vizier anyway. And I disagree. I think that it's just, the offer wall is just a completely separate thing. And if you want to use it, it's your choice to use it. And if you don't ever use it, that's fine. Like, the game is fully viable without it. I don't think that, I would honestly, no one's going to say no to Vizier or premium currency. But I don't think that there's any need. Like, I think War of the Visions has proven that it's been incredibly generous. So I don't think that you need to have the offer wall in the game.
all this comes from a place in my heart where there's a little bit of hate based on my experience with both Raid and the what was that other one with the not the AF Karina but the monster one.
Oh, the Idle Heroes. Yeah, that game sucked.
Yeah. That's where this is all coming from. So
yeah, and you know what though, we're allowed to have different opinions too, right? Otherwise, this would be a super boring podcast. If we just agreed with each other back and forth. So we think. I think that the Offerwall. I think that they need to figure out a more clear way to do it so that people don't get shafted in terms of rewards. There needs to be more accountability on getting that Visio. I know they need to protect themselves against people that have like screenshots of a completed account and are trying to say like, oh, it's your fault, but look at all my screenshots, and maybe it's like from a friend or something.
Right.
But at the same time, just know what you're getting yourself into. If you're going to do it, be aware of the risks.
Proceed with caution.
Mm-hmm.
Proceed with caution.
If I had offers not pay out, I probably wouldn't have completed like 6 games. But because they all paid out, I have no reason not to do it again besides just time. So, yeah.
I did 3 offer walls. I did Raid, I did Idle Heroes, and then I tried to do Game of Thrones. And when Raid and Idle Heroes didn't pay out, I just said screw it with the Game of Thrones. So after that, I'm not touching Offerwall.
Yeah, that's very, very reasonable. So kind of on this theme, we were also going to talk about cash grabs, and it's different. It's different than the Offerwall, because the Offerwall, it's the company that's paying Gumi and we're paying with our time. But with cash grabs in gacha games, that's where the game company directly wants our money. They want us to go ahead and spend. So did you have an example in mind for a cash grab, or like kind of how you perceive them? Like how could we put that into terms that people would understand what we're talking about?
All right. So if you ever played a game that immediately after completing any task, you go to the main menu, the main hub, and pop-ups come up everywhere. Buy this, buy this, buy this.
That's Raid Shadow
and
Legends.
After so long, not saying anything. But if that keeps happening over and over and over again, and then it plants it in your head that after you hit a wall, you're like, oh man, I can't get over this, and the gambler inside you, or the very fast pace of your time that you have to use on the game starts getting at you, nibbling at your conscience. Then you start paying money just to get over that wall, just to hit another one, and then the cycle continues. That's what a cash grab to me is. And especially games that well, I wouldn't say that's a cash grab, because cash grabs are defined differently, but that would be a very predatory game. Mm-hmm. So that predatory games and then cash grab. An example for a cash grab would be a game that opens up, has a lot of media, has a lot of commercials, has a lot of like social media presence, and then they sell a whole bunch of stuff and then announce that they're closing less than a year. That's what a cash grab is.
Yeah, and there's a lot of games that go global and close really quickly, and sometimes I don't know what their intentions were. Like, did they just not pick up like they thought they might, or did they want to do a really quick launch success, try to grab? Because it can't be cheap to bring a game to global, right? The localization alone.
No. I mean, okay, here's the thing, if you have to pay for translation, I don't think translation costs that much. Compared to like paying voice actors to do voice lines.
Yeah.
That would be different. But if you're just doing translations, and a lot of the games that come out for global, sometimes they have very wonky translations.
Yes, they do, yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, which game was it? We were talking, was it Blade X or was it Tales?
So Blade X actually had amazing translation. I was very, very impressed with their translations. It was Tales of Crestoria that they released the beta with just the most god-awful half-done translation, sentences that didn't make sense. But to be fair, upon global release for Tales of Krystoria, literally everything was fixed. There was no problems. But it was just interesting that, like, by the time they did the beta in early spring, I guess the translation was nowhere near finished, and they're like, yeah, let's just release it anyway and let people try the game out.
Well, keep in mind, when companies release betas, they release like a version or two before, previous to the one that they're currently doing. So like, let's say if on a cycle of a global release title, you have 5 versions of the game. You're currently working on version number 3. Beta starts on version number 1.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's common. It's common for a lot of games. Well, actually, pretty much any game that comes out for a beta, they release one version that they think is pretty good, but they have 2 or 3 other versions aside from the one that they're releasing for beta, just in case. And then they work on combining all that from bugs that players encounter on the version that they play on beta to the ones that they've worked on already, and then they combine and fix and then start releasing.
Okay. So I guess that's why the translation wasn't so good. But you know what? It's fine now. So
it's fine now.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm not that experienced at talking about cash grabs because I generally keep my wallet in my pocket, and whenever I do spend money, it's always been like I'm seriously into a game and I'm like, where's the value thing? Like I paid like $8 a month in Mobius Final Fantasy, and I pay the $10 a month for the value pack in War of the Visions, and like I never spent money in Blade X Lord or Tales of Krystoria because I just never got to that point where I felt secure with that, me putting my own money into it.
You saved yourself on Blade.
Yeah.
You saved yourself on Blade.
Oh, I know. That's man, I wanted that game to be. Yeah.
I did too. When I mean, that's how I discovered you. I was like, there was a game that had released a couple years ago. I think it was in 2018, called Star Ocean and Nemesis. And it was basically the same combat style as it was for Blade X Lord, and I was in love with Star Ocean and Nemesis. I mean, it was a popular title that I knew that I played when I was a kid, and the combat, the animations, all were amazing. The soundtrack as well was amazing. So I knew that they had put time into it, but then a year later they just vanished. Yeah.
I remember hearing that from someone as well, that they were very, very similar. Okay, so anything else about cash grabs? Like, I know, like, when I played Raid, there was one point where they literally showed me 8 ads in a row, and I could not believe it. And I feel like when you go for quantity over quality, eventually you're going to dog someone down. They're going to be like, okay, I'm going to buy one of these packs or something, because it's the pack that they need to progress. But yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe that's something we can hear from our viewers too. If you've experienced cash grabs, or there's practices that you don't think are very fair, comment on the video and let us know. Let's talk about it.
Or healthy.
Yeah.
Or healthy.
Or healthy. Yeah.
I mean, it feeds into a very bad stigma that, like, oh man, I have to pay for this and that. And a lot of people are strong-willed and they don't buy it, but eventually, like, if they play the game long enough, or if they get into a guild and they're competitive, and then you start seeing that you're falling behind, you get really tempted, and then you start opening that wallet, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, well, and you know what though? If you've played a game long enough, then good for you. Support the game. You've been playing it free for however long, Yeah.
But if one more thing I'm gonna say on Raid, I've been creeping around some of the content creators, and they have a very bad reputation with a lot of their content creators, where they don't pay them, or they strike their videos for whatever reason, whether they're talking bad about a patch or some unit that doesn't get fixed or reworked or whatever. And so stuff like that I started looking into, and think, why if they're such a massive success and they're gaining so much money, why do that? It's practices like that on top of asking for so much money.
Yeah.
That irk.
Yeah, and you know what? I actually one thing about Raid 2 is that aesthetically, I'm actually so on board for one day an actual like decent gacha game in that style to come out. Like it's kind of like Lord of the Ringsy, more like Western fantasy, not anime, not and that's the ad that they run. They kind of promote that, like, we're not a cartoon, we're not a thing, whatever. But I would actually love to see a game in that style come out that is actually like a really good game, because it's actually really cool. Like, that would be awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, the phones nowadays have gotten strong enough to run games like that. I mean, it's been proven. I mean, Genshin Impact's coming out, and it's like a 12 gigabyte download, and it runs fine on my phone.
Yeah. Oh man, I'll be getting that on PC for sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? I think we've been talking for a while. I think we're gonna wrap up for the day.
Yeah.
Unless that, of course, you have anything else that you want to add on to the discussion.
I think I'm gonna say one thing. Games like War of the Visions and Epic 7 that have a long-term plan succeed far more than those that go off of a month-to-month basis, based on analytics, based on player feedback. Like, a lot of games, and believe it or not, I played this game on PS4 that had a good engagement with the community, but they let the community run too many things, and it ended up closing down the game because people just hated it. And if you have a long-term plan, your game will succeed. And based on how good you are with the player base, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with asking for Offerwall this and
yeah,
and all that.
At the end of the day, too, it's all about the bottom line. So it's easy to stick to your plan when you're meeting your goals and making your money. But I can imagine, like, for example, with Blade X Lord, they're launched and they're just not making money, so they went desperate in the Q&A asking for help, asking for suggestions, saying they're going to implement all this stuff, and then going deadly silent and then coming back just to say we're closing. So you got to have that success early so that you can keep the game going and stick to your plan.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today on the Untitled for now Gacha Podcast for now. And I'm Mysidia Gaming, and I'm joined by Rev.
All right. Make sure you guys look into the description. We're gonna have our Twitter or Discord link. GatewayOfTheSix and Mysidia Gaming are currently all in one in the Discord.
Oh yeah.
Because we have a lot of games that we cover in the Discord, and we have everyone engaging on different topics, so it's easier that way.
It's a community. I wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah, so we're gonna see you on the Discord. We're gonna see you on the social media, in the next video, etc. And I'm gonna go kill a spider.
Go kill that spider.
All right, see you guys.